All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the Twitter space once again. Let people come on in the space and we can chop it up on this topic right quick because I think it's something that we do need to discuss here about our community. And as you can see, the title is Do the Elders in Our Community Hold Contempt for the Younger People? And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because every time we have these discussions about, politics, definitely dealing about the Democrat Party for sure, in our community, it seems like the elders hold contempt for the younger people who's speaking against the Democrat Party and how they don't do anything for us as a community. So I'm just letting everybody just come on in and join in. I know it's Friday Friday evening. Those of you that's joined us, hope your week went well. But as people coming in, I'll just go ahead and do my spiel, and then if you want to, come up and share, how you feel, then you can hit the request button. So, in my opinion, here, let me start off what I would say. I do believe the elders hold a contempt for us politically. I do believe the elders, not all, but it's definitely shown more politically than anything else. They hold contempt for us because I believe that they don't like us calling them out. In the black community, we have an issue with accountability. We don't like nobody telling us when we're wrong. We love for everybody to tell us when we're right. We like to be, celebrated. We even like to be lied to. We cool with people lying to us, but don't tell us if we're wrong, no matter what it is. And anybody that harpens on the wrongdoing in the black community, no matter what it is, you're going to be a hated individual. If you want to be loved, just go ahead on and just tell people what they want to hear, especially in this community. Now, when we get to the elderly generation, now, I'm one that's honest. I'm a student of history, and that generation did fight, racism, white supremacy during the civil rights movement. Yes, they did. They did go through the situation with the Klan and Jim Crow. I mean, we can know that, but this is the problem, and they know they messed up, and they just don't want to admit it. So they rather have contempt toward us. That generation actually had white supremacy on the ropes. If you think about it, they had white supremacy on the ropes. They had some of the greatest, freedom fighters ever in their generation, like Martin Luther King, your Malcolm X, you just name them, right? You had the Nation of Islam was real strong back then under Elijah Muhammad. I mean, you had the Panthers. I mean, you had so many people that you could name. Kwame Ture, you could just name people all day long they had in that particular generation. So if that generation had all those people that was fighting, right? What happened? Why are we in a position that we in today? And some people like to point out, because of welfare. No, 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 no. We got to stop all this. It's just the welfare that did it. No, or the, feminism. No, 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 no. Now, I know they were dealing with the devil. I know, the alphabet boys, they were created to destroy black movements. You had people, of course, Garvey, he's a little older, but still, it was still all in that realm. I'm gonna say, because they got people today that still alive that remember Garvey, right? So no matter what you thought, they had it. Now, they had white supremacy on the ropes, right? They had them. All they had to do, once they had them on the ropes, they had them just about defeated. That's why they was trying to say, look, man, here, take this civil rights, please. Look, take this Fair Housing Act. Because when King was alive, he couldn't get it. But after Holy Week, they say, man, look, take it. Look, we ain't fighting with you. Just go ahead and take it. Had them on the ropes. And what did they do? They walked away from the fight. They said, oh my God, I can go shop with the white people now. I can go live in the white neighborhood now. I don't have to live next to black folk no more. I can go shop in Macy's. I can go shop in Bloomingdale's. I can go eat with white people at. Because even watching them sit-ins, I wouldn't want to endure that. I mean, I believe in fighting, but I'm not about to sit there and let no white folks pour some drinks on my head, yelling in my ear, and I'm just getting hit, doing everything to me to do what? To go sit in there with them? I don't want to be around y'all. Y'all can't. A lot of them can't cook no way. I mean, what's wrong going down to Miss Bessie May down there in your neighborhood and getting some real food, some good food? So Miss Bessie May was feeding them for hundreds of years. You want to go eat with them? They don't know how to, they know how to cook nothing. Black people done taught them everything they know anyway. So they got comfortable. They wanted to start partying and not fighting nothing no more, and start using the drugs. And I know drugs has always been used, but this all this in the 70s, like the 70s, all this love and laying down with everybody. Now they could they cool enough now. You can lay down with any race you want and whatever, right? And they walked away from the fight. Then after all that in the 70s, these people, one thing about white supremacy, they don't stop. They believe in being the devil 24/7. So while y'all partying and BSing, they licking their wounds, and now they planning to get you back. And then you take it to the 80s. Now they got you back with the freaking crack epidemic. That's how they got you back. Got you strung out, got you doing all kind of things. And it was just progressive going down, down, down. Got you strung out on the doggone crack. Then came out that crime bill, in '94 with Biden and Clinton signing that. I mean, it was, and then you just basically destroyed the black family with that crime bill, right? This raise of the single parent household came in. These people have been planning destruction, but the reason why it got to that point, because sometimes we talk about racism, white supremacy, but we don't talk about a lot of times our hand in our own destruction and our own progression. And then sometimes we get mad at other groups who didn't choose to do certain things that we chose to do, right? I'm talking about the previous generation. So we tell that older generation, man, y'all royally effed up. Y'all was partying and BSing while y'all should have been building something for people like me and people like a lot of you. And then they want to say, oh, y'all just disrespectful, or y'all don't, they the one came up with this representation matter crap. And then they got their people in there, and it was a bunch of boule Negroes, bunch of boule, okay, not doing nothing for black folk. And then this the crazy part. We keep telling them they not doing nothing for black people, and they had this attitude like F y'all. That's why they be like, look at them. They have this attitude, and even when you speak up, they give you this look like, man, sit down. Like, we don't want to hear all that. You messing up. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how they looking at you. They don't want us to say a freaking thing about what's going on and what they have done to the black community right now, because a lot of them don't care. All they care about is their Social Security checks and making sure that the white supremacy don't touch them, don't bother them. They can care less what happened to the rest of us. They don't care. They don't care. And see, one thing about these politicians, they know that's their strongest voter block. This is why they was so quick. Now, I go there. This is why they were so quick during the time of the pandemic to make sure that group of people got, let me say the medicine quicker than anybody else. Because see, politicians think about themselves. Y'all don't, man, politicians are dirty. They evil and all kind of other things. But life is happening. Okay. Life is happening. And every day, every year, that group is lessening because they're not, life is happening. People pass away, right? And now what these politicians going to do? Because see now, because this generation is, that's life. It happens. It could happen to everybody. You can't go into black church no more because a lot of black churches are closing all over the country. I did a podcast on that because younger people are not going into these churches. Why? Listen, if you see a bunch of black men not a part of anything, you need to question that. I always say that. Black men been abandoned the black church a long time ago. Why? Because we've seen it as pimping. We see the hoeing. We know that listen, men know men. We know what that preacher got going on in there. We're not about to go give our money to that crap. You're seeing more and more black men even abandon the Democrat Party. They don't want to be a part of it. They say either I'm independent or I don't vote at all. Some black men they say they're Republican for whatever reason they say they want to be Republican. Now I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in no party. I say just vote our interest. That's it. But I want to know what y'all think about this, because I definitely can go on and on. Make sure you send a request. I know I got one so far. What do you think about the elders in our community holding contempt for the younger people? Let me see. Let me go to the request down here. There's a Julian. All right, let's get him on. Let's see here. Julian, unmute your mic.
Hey, brother Phil, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. To answer your question, I think they hold contempt, but personally, I feel part of them feels guilty, and I don't think they don't want to admit the fact that they failed us, and that instead of continuing to fight like white supremacists fight 24/7, that they once they got the civil rights, they thought all was right in the world, and they can live and do whatever they want. But I think part of them feels guilty that they dropped the ball, and now we have to pick up the pieces and work 1,000 times more harder than they did.
Well, this is what I would say. Okay, let's say you failed. No
Mhm.
problem. You failed.
Yeah,
The least they can do to rectify the situation is just say, okay, younger people, you know what, y'all in the fight. Hey, what I can do? Hey, vote. Can you vote this way? Can you not vote for Clyburn? Can you not vote for this one? Can we for this person that we kind of looking at? And they should be like, okay, that's the least they can do. The least.
that's true.
We're not telling them to get in the street and do anything. We not listen. We need to boycott something like financial boycott. Okay, they can participate in that. They don't have to do anything that's going to hurt and harm them. Voting a certain way and even financial boycotts is something they can do where it would not hurt them, won't hurt their social security, won't hurt them physically, won't hurt them.
That's true. But for two things. One, you already said the reason. I mean, they can just still do something, but it's like you said before. The black community, we our accountability is like kryptonite to us. Like we can't accept when we're wrong. We want to believe we're always right. And another thing is, and to be clear, my family are from the Caribbean, but I do support you, Black Americans, and the foundational Black American movement. Just so you know. But I will say this: I think also when the Black community had fought to get people from other countries to come in here, we've also allowed possible tethers to come in and undermine us at the same time. Because, now when we try to do boycotts, it's impossible now because we got tethers and, people who want to undermine us. And, the white supremacists will only allow people who from other countries who will undermine us. They will never have someone like Julius Malema or Marcus Garvey and great grandchild to come in. Like they won't do that. So I think that's probably the reason why it's so difficult for us to get on board. And also we got hood rats and Pookie and Red Race in the mix. So
Right, right. Well, brother, I appreciate you joining me once again, man. And yeah, you have a good evening.
you too, sir. Have a good night.
Well, let's talk about that before I get to the next person. Um, when it comes to the immigrant situation, the government is the one that's letting these people in. They handpick these people. Let me tell y'all something. This is why it's so important for black people to travel. All black people in America need to have your passport. Just like you got a driving license. I say just about every black person in America, if they can, got a driving license. You need to have a passport. If you go to other countries and you see, let's say even African or Caribbean countries, and they're trying to get a visa to come here, they don't let everybody in here. They hand pick people to come in here. Okay? And that's the issue, and that's the problem. It's white supremacy bringing certain people over here to undermine, to cause a problem. Now, am I saying all of them doing it? No, that's not true. But I'm saying is they like the ones that say I ain't part of them. I'm this. Look, the more tribal they are, the better they are to come in here for them. I know how white supremacy works. White supremacy has been working on divide and conquer. This is why I understand when some brothers and sisters, as immigrants come here and they get out of line. Yes, we should check them in love, but we should check them, right? But for me, the riders that I've talked to, myself in the African continent, is over there. They're not really coming over here like that. That's why I kind of don't like when people have a worldview of Africans or Caribbeans based on the ones here. You ain't really talked to them. You need to go over there where they at, and you will see how, like, man, they got some real down people over here. And some of them be talking about the ones that immigrate here, and they're like, man, they are raccoons over here. They're them kind of people. They not down with us over here. They were selling out here in freaking African countries, and they selling out over there too. That's why they let them go over there. But anyway, let me get to my brother Rich here. Rich, you can unmute your mic.
Peace and thanks for having me on. I'm just gonna answer the question real quick.
Yes,
Do
sir.
the elders in our community hold contempt for the younger people? Yes. And the reason why I say yes is because, white folks, those elders in their community, they pass down tangible resources for the youngins in their community. In our community, they pass down Bible quotes and things of that nature. Nothing of that's sustainable. Nothing that could help us out here. And for you to do that, that shows contempt because we're in a system of white supremacy. We need resources to fight that. Words won't help us. What do you think about that?
Well, let me quote something here. So there's a scripture even in the Bible that teach that a good man will leave an inheritance to his children's children. We don't do that in our community. Now you say, well, we poor, we didn't have anything, X, Y, Z. Let me tell you something. You can go get you a $25, $30 life insurance policy that can be worth 250,000, 300,000. Okay, you may not have much at all to give your kids, but at least you paid that $25 policy every month. You had that policy. You don't have to go and GoFundMe begging people to bury your loved one. That I can't stand that. Asking people $10,000 for that. You had take care of your business, and you can leave some money to your children. At least that much. Look, in life, you may couldn't give them much, but at least when you're not here, you can at least do that. And that's an issue that we got in our community too. Like the elders and people like that aren't even leaving nothing for us. We always starting at the bottom, and even in death, we don't leave nothing for nobody. Nothing at all.
Could I
Other
ask you?
group,
Could I
go
ask you a
ahead.
quick question?
Sure.
Why do you think the elders have contempt for the young folks in the black community? Why do you think so?
For me, they wanted to assimilate into white supremacy. I mean, that's what it's. I mean, based off of what they have done, they want to assimilate. Some people fought to assimilate. Some people fought to be just completely free, and it seems like a good portion just fought to integrate and assimilate, just based off of what we see here. So anybody that's talking not assimilation, anybody that's going to shake the hornet's nest for them, they're going to be pissed off about that because they feel that, hey, at least, we made it. I mean, what you talking about? I can work with white people. I can go with white people eat. I can shop with white people. I can go on vacation with white people. I can ride the same airplane with white people. I mean, I can go to business class, with white people on the plane. I can do all kind of things now. We have made it. And that, I guess that's fine for them. But that's not good enough because we still, at the bottom. So anybody that possibly going to mess up they what they think is good, they don't like it. That's just what I'm getting from it. But brother, I appreciate you, coming to join us on the show. All right. Let's get the next person that come up. Like I said, if y'all want to come up and say something, go ahead and hit the request button. You can come up. All right. Let's see. You got Alone here. Alone. Alone, when you connected, unmute your mic. Whenever you connect, to say you're connecting. But okay, there we go. Alone, you on. Okay, now you drive back down. Okay, all right. Well, yeah. So that's just what I see. Ladies and gentlemen, just with the older people, and like I say, it's not all. I won't say all because you do have some older people that's still with it. You know what I'm saying? And then they will be honest and tell you, hey, we dropped the ball. We thought this, we thought that. And yes, a lot of them were betrayed by raccoons. Definitely politically. Let's get Nurse Nikki up here. Nurse Nikki, you connecting? All right, Nurse Nikki, you can unmute.
Hi, Phil. Thank you for letting me speak. I want to say that I have seen some elders in my own family do some very selfish things, especially around the times like when people die. That's when, the worst of some people come out. And I'm from Buffalo, New York. I had a family member that was murdered in that tragedy. And
Oh
I want
no.
to tell you a story about what a friend told me today. I have a friend named Roger, and he's working now on the grassroots. And he said he was in an environment where Al Sharpton was, and that they mentioned that the state had donated $100,000 to the families for burial expenses, and Al Sharpton had originally promised to pay for the burial, but once he found out the state was paying, he kind of backed off. So somebody that was in the grassroots asked him, well, since the state is already paying, can you match the $100,000 donation? And he said no. So, look at what our elders, fund. A lot of our elders pay money to a lot of these organizations, pay money into the church, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine how much money from the black community has gone into the church. And for a man who claims to speak for black people to say no, that he was not going to pay for that tragedy, that's just atrocious. And I'm just going to drop back down to listener.
Okay. Thank you, sister, for coming in. And yeah, what can you expect from Al Sharpton? I mean, seriously. I mean, this guy has been hustling for a long time. Let me tell you something. Al Sharpton got a lot of money from these companies by just basically, almost light extorting these companies. Like, look, you don't treat black people right. We're gonna do a protest over here. So they be like, oh no, we don't want that. That's not gonna look good. So hey, Al, well, what about if we donate this to your Rainbow Push Coalition? And what do we give this when we give that? And that's he been doing that for a long time. Al Sharpton. Oh man, Al Sharpton ain't got nothing going on. Listen, this is what I say. You trust a black man walking around with his hair slicked back like that? I don't trust no black man with no hair like that because you look like a pimp to me. That's just bottom line. I mean, you want a pimp, I guess that's do you. But he just pimping on another way. And they go show up and tell those brothers and sisters in Buffalo that you're going to pay for something. And then you find out, like you said you was going to pay for it. Obviously, you must got the money. Obviously. So why you back off now? No, you wasn't serious about anything. I don't know why black folks let Al Sharpton come around and say anything. Listen, I knew Al Sharpton, what wasn't ish when I saw him get on MSNBC. What kind of freaking so-called activist gets a show on MSNBC peddling what they put on the teleprompter? Because those people, if y'all don't know, when you go to those studios, they got a teleprompter, and you're reading what they're telling you to say. You're not just like free balling on what you want to say or whatever. No, it doesn't work like that. So Al Sharpton is going on there peddling Democrat talking points. Do you remember when on MSNBC thing right after the horrible white supremacist terrorist attack against those precious black people in Buffalo? He comes telling black folk, we can't just make it about us. I mean, because it's Asian and it's LGBT and it's all these different groups. Like, bruh, now check this out. Go talk about Uvalde. Did they say, hey, it's just not about Hispanic people now. It's about black people and white people. Nobody's saying anything. If you notice that about other groups, nobody's saying anything. That's what I'm saying. We got a bunch of sellouts in our community. Now, the sister was talking about death and burial with families. Sure, I could tell y'all a story, and this is a true story. And my family got mad at me, but I had to call them out. See, I told them Y'all look at it. I said, I'll let y'all make it by coming to my Facebook page with it. And I told him if I really wanted to embarrass y'all, I would have went to YouTube with it. I said, but I'll let you make it, even though I was upset. So my grandmother, my grandmother put me on, and grandfather put me on a lot of game about just the system. You know what I'm saying? And so my grandmother, she passed away, a few years ago. She had a life insurance policy, but it wasn't, enough, but she did have some, right? So my grandmother, she helped out everybody in the family, everybody, from my mom to my aunts to my cousins to every. My grandma was. If you had a problem, go talk to my grandma and grandpa. They gonna help you out. When she get to the point that she needs help, can't find y'all. Now I will admit my mom was there with her. My mom did help. I did. That's the only one was helping out. My mom. When it got to the point where my grandma passed away, and the life insurance policy wasn't enough to pay for everything, so I thought about it. I say, well, shoot, we all can put in, out of all the people in my family, we all can put in about 800 apiece. About 800 apiece, probably, that'll cover it. And like I say, look, I put in my 800. Everybody put theirs in. Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of this. Well, guess what happened? Nobody wanted to put in nothing. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Why nobody want to put in? You understand what I'm saying? Nobody wants to put in. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, she got to have a funeral. What's going on? Well, long story short, guess who had to pay everything? Take a wild guess who had to pay everything. I was hot. And I was so upset. I was so upset. And my wife is the only thing that calmed me down. She said, look, she was your grandmother and, you loved her a lot and you helped, she helped you and this and that. And she's the one that calmed me down because I was just so upset. I'm like, you putting it all on me to pay. Okay. I had to come out thousands of dollars out of my pocket when I got all these family members that should have been helping. Then some of them say, "How y'all? Well, we'll pay you back." Now? Actually, ask me how much money I ain't got back since then. I ain't got a freaking dollar. So I know about these families, y'all. Oh, I know about them. That's why I'm kind of, I just kind of do my thing on my own because I just don't deal with some of that, But I just had to go there about just that funeral situation because it's like, and so I blasted them. I called them all kind of sorry people, on there because she did. I mean, she did for everybody, and then y'all don't show up. That happens a lot in families, though. That happens a lot. Um, but just to get off that tangent, there are a lot of people, like say in this the elders. You look right now, what's going on with the Clyburn situation. You got Marcel Dixon. He's running out of South Carolina. I mean, he's been really, definitely coming out speaking, definitely the language and for the grassroots, and you still got people, supporting Clyburn, and it's just amazing to me. And then when they had went to that fish fry, it's how them elder people was acting, calling them trash. I saw that it called them calling the younger people trash. Like, how they trash for saying do something for me? Like, do something. We need help. No, you're trash. I don't go around people like y'all. Like, this is the issue and the divide that we have in our community. And so, for me, I'm just how I feel about it personally. If you're not talking the way what I'm talking, I just don't fool with you. And I'm telling black folk, don't fool with anybody that's not on your team, that's not part of your tribe. Leave them alone. And if they're not going to try to help you, they're against you. We got to think like that. Even our own community, either you're for me or against me. There's no in between. There's no in between. I've been seeing that a lot, and they gonna have to change their ways. They're gonna have to change their ways, or it's gonna get even worse, for them, with the contempt that the younger people have for them, because a lot of young people got contempt for them too because of the way they have acted. And let me get my boy Freeway Dread up here. All right, Freeway, you on? Just unmute your mic, brother. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just to answer your question, do the elders hold contempt for the younger people? Yeah, they do. They definitely do. But I add this. I say this is the question I would ask. It's like a comment, but it's a question. It's like, okay, you live your life. You got, because the saying, one of the sayings growing up, I always heard, I got mine. You better get yours. I got mine. This is what I would say, well, damn, well, what about the children? What about us? What about the grandchildren and the great grandchildren? Now, uh, like my great grandma, she was born in 1923. She did it the right way. Her father did it the right way. But like my mom and my grandma generation, they did it different. But growing up, I always heard, I got mine. You better get yours. Or get yours. I got mine. Well, then, what about the rest of us? Like that's how I grew up. I always grew up thinking, and I was born in the 80s. So it's like, I heard some funny stuff from them, and it's like, okay, now that you up in age, now that you in your 60s and your 70s and your 80s, you still want to tell people what to do, or are you mad because we decided to go our own direction when you showed us the exact things not to do instead of the things to do. Now, I'm not talking about all elders, for in case we got some elders on the line who listen. I'm not talking about the ones who did right. I'm talking about, we all know that the majority of it was, hey, I got mine, you better get yours. So that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to chime in real quick. I'll fall back, Phil, man. Thank you for letting me talk.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Yeah, that attitude, but that's a selfish attitude, and that's why we don't get no. And that selfish attitude have been spread out through the community, and this is why we don't have what we need. It's because of selfishness. That's what. Like I told y'all before. Yes, white supremacy has definitely done some damage to black people, but also black people have done damage to black people too. Like I said, white supremacy couldn't really do everything it do to us without assistance from other black folk. Okay, whether within the community or assisting white supremacy to harm us, and being selfish like that. Well, I don't care. I was worried about myself. Listen, as a father, I don't want my children to go through what I went through. And thank God they not dealing with what I dealt with, growing up, right? But even when the Lord ready for me, I don't want to leave them without nothing. What kind of crap is that? Like, oh well, that's on them. They do what they got to do. No, they don't. And then other groups, they leaving stuff for their kids. Some people get, even if it's like a convenience store or something. Or now I know some, but it's also, let me give some balance to this, because I've seen this too. There have been some older people that have left land, they have left businesses, and things like that. They have. And I have seen so many different stories where family have sold land, just sold it to them folks. Sold businesses, got rid of instead of continuing that legacy of what some people left to you. That's another aspect of the whole thing too, is messing off some things. So that's why I tell people, if you can, get you an airtight trust and make sure it's done that way. Okay. But for me, at least in my family, I don't have, like, say, really, too many. Well, me outside, okay. Oh, of course, my father and all that definitely would be considered an elder over me. But those people, like my grandmothers and them, like all of them have passed away. I really enjoyed them because they put me up on so much game. Sometimes people pop in these Twitter spaces, and I'd be like, "Who is that?" I was like clicking on profiles and things like that. So anyway, the elders, in my opinion, just my opinion, they stuck in their ways, because definitely when you get past 40, it's kind of hard to change people. They're stuck in their ways. They think that Sheila Jackson Lee, like I remember about Al Green, never forget that. When my cousin did run on the Democrat side for Congress, and I think she had a campaign event, and I think I was just speaking for a little bit, and I asked them, I said, hey, you want, they say you would consider voting for her. And they're like, well, one of them like, well, I don't know about that, because, I know Al, so this is the older cat. So I say, so what has Al Green done for the community? He couldn't answer me. He said, Oh, well, he did good stuff. I said, what stuff did he do? Could not answer. He said, well, we just know Al. No, you know of him. He comes around, but he does nothing for the community, and you still gonna vote for him? Like that, like I said, that would made like that when I saw that and how those older people looking at me that day I was speaking against Al Green. I said, "Oh my God!" I seen the contempt from them older people. They have contempt for us, man. Boy, anybody speaking against that system of just not doing nothing for black people, like they are cool with nothing being done, as long as they get their social security check. Now, look, if one of them mess up their social security check, or they ready to fight something in, but shoot, as long as they get their social security, they are good. They can care less about me and you, care less about our children or anybody else. Hey, man, that just. Yeah, we got a screwed up situation going on in America, but things gonna change very rapidly. I tell all of y'all about 2030 or so, you're probably not gonna recognize this place. It actually started in 2019, but wait till you get about to 2030. It's gonna be real interesting. Every year you're gonna see like what happened to America. Are you thinking you seeing that now? Oh, it's gonna continue. You like what happened to this place? Listen, I'll say I grew up, in the '80s, and then teenager finished high school, in the late '90s, and it seemed like I don't even live in the same country no more. From the '80s and '90s to now, I mean, it is beyond crazy. That's why I'm like I enjoy it a lot of times I'm out the country because this place here, it's not even good for family, man. And then, like that same generation we talking about, right? I mean, think about it. They grew up with the family. The family was strong, and they allowed that generation right there allowed the black family to be destroyed. You might well say it's destroyed. We didn't have all these, single mothers. We didn't have all this crime in the community back then. We had families. We had, mother and father in the home and all that. I mean, we were doing actually pretty good in America. Even after slavery, our families were strong. You know what I'm saying? Even after that. So that generation is the one that dropped the ball, even on the black family. We arguing about all this stuff, but go back to who really dropped the ball on the black family. And then you want to have contempt with us? Like, y'all got some nerve. But the problem is also in the black community, you have a lot of narcissists running around. A lot of people who are narcissistic, and a lot of them are narcissists. That they be looking at us like we need to thank them. Thank them for what? We literally almost back in the same position that y'all was in. Actually, sometimes a little worse. No, we ain't got the Klan, but we got the police, which is the Klan. Same thing. I just saw a story about Klan chapters all over this one police department, and I think it's at Livingston, Louisiana, that just read up on. I mean, man, like what has really changed other than the Klan took the hood off and just put on a police badge? Ain't nothing changed. They still killing black folk left and right. What's the difference between the Klan doing something to a brother or sister back in the 50s, 60s, and then the video of George Floyd? That's the same thing. That's lynching. And they still getting away with the crap. We shouldn't be dealing with that anymore. But y'all decided not to fight no more. And then now we got to play catch up. On top of y'all was in a good position. Y'all didn't have all the immigrants in here. It was just black and white. That was it. Now we gotta compete with all of the immigrants now. And y'all didn't have none of that. If y'all would have stayed fighting, if y'all would have stayed away from Margaret Sanger too, because it was your generation that let Margaret Sanger in the black community in Harlem through them Negro preachers, sold us out, and brought that doggone deletion to our community. We came out of slavery, was taking care of our children. We will just say, hey, you free, go. You eat nothing. And black folk fed their kids, had clothes on their kids' back, and figured out to have a roof over their head. All those years. You let the devil come in and tell you that you so poor that you should delete your kid. when black folks been taking care of their kids with nothing for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. It was that generation that let that in. It wasn't ours. We the one that didn't push that. Actually, a lot of us are against it. That's why they get so pissed off with us. They get so pissed off because how dare we sit up there and call them out? Hell yeah, we need to call y'all out. Make it right. If you are mad about it, make it right. Stand with the younger brothers and sisters out here. Admit, hey, we did drop the ball. Listen, we are still a forgiving people for the most part. You say you dropped the ball, but I'm gonna try to fix it. They say I ain't in control of everything, but I'm gonna try to do my part to fix it. I'm gonna speak up, speak out. I'm gonna call out the CBC. I'm gonna do everything I can, and to help y'all out. That's all we ask. But stop walking around here like with this contempt. These boule. Look at that boule. Look who started all that mess. Just a bunch of raccoons. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us up here on this Twitter space. I know it's late. Probably catching y'all at an interesting time, but I had a little time to do the Twitter space. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you click that follow button. That's very, very important. Follow us definitely on our YouTube, channels, African Diaspora News channel. We have the Black Congregation is our channel. We also have Phillip Scott Audio Experience and the Phillip Scott Show. That's actually our entertainment channel. If you like entertainment, news, and that sort of thing. If you don't, it's not your thing, then don't go over there. That's for a different type of crowd, different audience. But we appreciate you coming, almost, I guess, midnight here in Houston, and we definitely see you next time.